Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Confessions of a Writer. Um, Writer in transition, hopeful writer, not quite yet official writer, but welcome. My name is Kim, and I have done a few videos already just on my experience with writing and some helpful things I've learned along the way that you might be able to use in your own writing. Have tried to open up dialogue with you to see if you have any hints or helps, or if you are finding any advice that I've been giving helpful at all. That's great. If you hear some yelling in the background, I apologize. My daughter is playing on Roblox with her friends at the moment, so you might hear some yelling and screaming. And you know, as a parent who is also a teacher and a writer and trying to do these YouTube videos and trying to teach their kids, you take time when you can get it. So this is my time. Anyway, today I kind of wanted to open this video up with, and cat scratching in the background for added ambiance. That's Zoe. Good girl, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. I wanted to do sort of the more confessions part of this series because I think it's really important that you see the double side of writing. You know, I've presented a very happy side, which it is, and passionate, and I've talked about my inspirations, and there she is screaming in the background, and all this other wonderful things, and you know, the tools that I use to come up with names and all of that good stuff. And I've kind of hinted to the other side of it, but this has really hit home in the last little bit, especially with this COVID virus and being quarantined and just having so much more added on to our plates if you are a parent. Also being a teacher, it's made it a really unique and interesting experience for me. I teach kindergarten, so it's been a very steep learning curve and a whole lot more work, revamping and readjusting and trying to reach out and communicate, and then also having to help my 7th grader and 4th grader with their homework and learning and doing all of that, which I'm sure the majority of you out there who are working and parents and writers and juggling and daughters and sisters and brothers and sons and the works, it's been a real juggling act. And it's funny because I actually fell out of love with my writing for a while. I don't know if this has happened to you, but after going through the whole attempting to be published and attempting to get an agent, which I have not yet been successful at, but I'm really working hard because I strongly believe in the manuscript that I'm written and the series that it's going to lend itself to. And it's also become vitally important to who I am, and part of my happiness is wrapped up in it, and it's something I really want to make successful. Not at the J.K. Rowling level, although hey, if that happened, that would be pretty amazing, but that woman is astounding. She has created an empire, not just a successful book series, and I think she is phenomenal, but I also think that dream is unrealistic for 99% of us. So I would just like someone to value, oh my goodness, and there's lunch. Boy, you're getting a real glimpse into my life right now. It's our automatic cat feeder, and you can see 2 kitties in the background. But it's just that recognition and that validation that, okay, all of these months and year and a half now, and the hard work and the sorrow of it, the elation of it, all the feelings, all the work, because holy cow, getting everything ready for publication is a job and a half itself. And I will do a separate video all about that because I've learned quite a bit, and I am I took a breath from it for a while because, as I said, after really, oh, and there's the third cat, you're seeing all of them, after working so hard, filling things out and revamping my query letter and doing all of that, it took an emotional toll on me. Now, I'm a pretty tough chick most of the time, but when you put your heart into the world and you get very little feedback in return, it's hard. And the feedback you get is really positive, but they don't publish fantasy, or you get the yes, but it's from a vanity publisher, or you get automatic no's right away, and you're like, but I just spent 5 hours filling all of your forms out. Did you read it? Okay. It's hard. And I actually fell out of love with my book, and I had major self-doubts. I'm like, well, maybe it sucks. Maybe I am completely out of this world thinking that this is something that I can do. And so I went through a really rough time, and then on top of everything, dealing with this whole quarantine and the COVID virus and figuring that out. And I just actually hadn't even looked at anything for months. I had taken a really long break. And then the other day, and I want to thank you because, as I said before, this is very cathartic for me as well. And I hope maybe seeing this is cathartic for you, knowing that there are so many of us going through the same up and down roller coaster that is this whole journey. But I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready to tackle this again, but maybe something needs to change. And so I went back, and I've mentioned the Authors Publish website and course before, and with Emily Harstone, and I went back because you submit your manuscript to her, and she, not all of it, just part of it, and she goes through and gives you her critiques and her opinions, which are incredibly valid because she's been in this industry for a while and is a published author herself. She does poetry and other things. And so I thought, you know what, let me just go back and read her feedback again. And I did, and went, okay. I wasn't ready at the time to hear what she had to say. It wasn't negative, it was just constructive. But I just kind of barreled ahead with it anyway and didn't really give it the weight that it deserved. And so and I'm super excited about this, have started revamping the manuscript I've already submitted. Why not, right? And I'm super thrilled with what is coming from it. And I asked her for some more clarification in a couple of the terms that she used, because she had said I needed to show more through my writing instead of telling, and I needed to know what that meant to her. And I'll share what she shared with me. So showing is basically descriptive writing. It's those wonderful juicy adjectives that I talked about in my previous video. It's really using language to describe and emote what is going on in your story. Instead of saying the moon was out that night. That brilliant, beautiful, lighted ball in the sky emitted this natural glow across the earth that just blanketed it in a luminescent pearl white light. I'm just thinking of this at the top off the cuff of my head, so probably not the best example, but it's that sort of thing. So I started going back through my writing and went, okay, there are a lot of places that I can do this. So I have actually started revamping my manuscript, and I'm going to submit it to Emily again for her feedback and see. But the wonderful thing, the wonderful comment is, oh, she said, I think about your story often and have been wondering what's been going on with it. So that was really positive, because being a teacher and writing for middle grade kids, considering I have one, it's really important to me to make something that's going to enhance their lives as well, because as a teacher you get the pleasure of doing that face-to-face every day, and I still would like to affect change in some way by becoming a writer. And so it was really nice that she said that the story had resonated her to the point where she thinks about it every now and then. And that's really what I'm hoping for, is to create a discussion with the stories that I'm telling, and that it leaves an impact. Because I think that's why J.K. Rowling has been so successful, is because her stories leave an impact and a lasting impression. And, you know, there's some hint at comedy, and there's a ton of tasks these kids have to overcome, and there's good guys and bad guys, and wizardry and witchcraft, and a world that you can get lost in. And I think that's what we're all trying to do, or write to show experience and hurt and pain and loss and love and getting over it and dealing with it, or cookbooks to help improve your quality of life, or home decor, again, to enhance your surroundings and make you feel comfortable and happy when you're at home, and all of those kinds of things. So writing is an incredibly powerful thing, and it can affect a lot of different people in a lot of different ways, and that's another reason why it's really important to me. So yeah, so that's where I am at, and I am hoping that this time around I'm a little bit more successful, and you truly are going through this journey with me, and we're going through it with each other, and it's a tough one, and there are moments, so many moments of self-doubt. There are moments where you read your work and you're like, oh my goodness, this is terrible, this is awful. And then there are moments where you're like, ooh, I really like the way I worded this. And because it's okay as writers to pat ourselves on the back too when we've done something wonderful, when we've written something amazing. It's okay to acknowledge that, and I think that's really important to do as well. But it's a lonely, I've said this before, it's a lonely, solitary profession as well, because it's really you and the world that you're creating, or you and the story that you are telling, or you and your characters, and you working through stuff, and you experiencing the writer's block. Nobody can understand that or go through it with you. I mean, I have my two lovely sounding boards here, my kids, who are helping me with all sorts of ideas, but ultimately the burden and wonder of creating these tales falls on me and me alone. So, you know, it's a big thing. It's a big thing that we are asking of ourselves, but it's also an incredibly wonderful thing too. But there could be videos that come in the future where I am elated, or I am incredibly sad and hurt by some of the feedback, because you know what, we're all people. And I have to say, the two agents that I sent my stuff for who replied in less than 24 hours, it was gut-wrenching. Great that you know that I'm not a good fit for you, but you know, you spend so much time filling out everything, and you pour your heart and soul into something, and just getting that, you know, thank you so much, but you're not a right fit, but in such a short period of time, it was rough. It definitely brought tears to my eyes, I'm not gonna lie. However, getting feedback is important and nice too. But if you are hoping and expecting specific feedback, or feedback that says, hey, you know, you're off to a really great start, but these are areas I would work on, I don't think it's going to happen, because there are just so many people who are trying to get their work published, and it's a huge market, and these wonderful people, editors, publishers get so many manuscripts that they just don't have the time. And I think they also get some backlash from hurt writers as well, because yeah, it's hard to have someone say, nope, this is not good, this is not for us, you know, whatever the case is. It does, it hurts, it stings, but you have to kind of dust yourself off and put your big girl panties on or your big boy undies on and just get the job done and be tough-skinned about it, feel through what you're going through, and then if it really means a lot to you, just move on. And sometimes the impact of it takes a while for you to move on from, and that's okay. So that was a very personal note from me, but we're all human, and you know, if you're going through something similar, know that you are not alone, that there are many of us out there. But I think part of being a writer, perhaps part of our personalities, your personality, is an innate shyness, being closed off, whatever the case is. And so reaching out is really difficult and challenging to do. So maybe this is a way that you can connect with someone without needing to put yourself out there too. So I hope this is a forum for you to do that. Anyway, I've been rambling for 16 minutes, so I am going to sign off. I'm going to say thank you so much for tuning in. I know YouTubers say if you like it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you'd like to do that, that would be amazing. But I just appreciate you joining me. So from my heart to yours, I wish you all the best. Good luck with your writing, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay healthy. Bye.